Hello and welcome back. So instead of talking about the war in Ukraine or the bloodshed in Burma, we're going to talk about these banknotes from Mauritania. Mauritania hasn't had a war since, I think 1973. They withdrew from Western Sahara. They tried to annex the southern portion, but they got their ass fried because it's a poor country. Currently, the population is only 4 million, so obviously we would not be able to withstand a substantial attack. So anyway, Mauritania, they first issued their own currency in 1973. Before that, they used the CFA franc, which is currently used by neighbouring countries like Senegal and Mali. And their banknotes are all printed in Germany. So here we have the lowest banknote of the first currency. And the currency is called the Ugia. I don't know if I pronounced that properly. It's in Arabic, and it's the Arabized version of what Wikipedia says is ounce. And on this side we have French, on the other side we have Arabic. So the exchange rate at the time was 250 Ugia equals $1. So this is roughly equivalent to 40 US cents. And the 100 Rugia. So this is the second series of banknotes that they issued, first issued in 2004, and 4100 last issued in 2015. So this banknote here, 40 other denominations last issued 2013. So there is a watermark. The watermark's some unknown, probably a mullah. I would say mullah, yeah. No, he doesn't have a turban, so probably just a generic person who, I don't know. If anyone knows who it is, please let me know. But on the front of the banknotes, it's all in Arabic, just as the Central Bank of Mauritania, the denomination, the two signatures. We have a generic feature. This looks like a dome top. Could be a mosque, but I'm not too sure. It has another pattern there, so there's nothing really on this banknote to say that it represents a certain design. At least I haven't found it, but there's three numbers. There's 296, so that corresponds with the last three numbers of the serial number. So that I've just found out. So is it on the other banknotes as well? Yes, it is. It got 392. So that's an interesting feature about these banknotes. So it's probably overprinted in white. I don't think it'll be a main feature of the banknote because then they need to actually change the design. So it's printed on later. Yeah, pretty easy thing to do. So these banknotes used to be expensive, but currently you can pick these up for like $2 to $3 each. So obviously when Mauritania issued the second Ugia in 2017, they had a whole stack of these banknotes uncirculated. So it's obviously to just dump these off with a banknote seller or just a numismatist, and they've passed us on. So you can actually pick these up for quite cheap for now. I reckon in the future they'll probably increase in price. Okay, so on the other side, we have two instruments. And those instruments are, what are they called? Arden. So they're stringed instruments. And this one is like it looks like a Chinese instrument actually. And it's got whatever you call it, one of those chord things like on a violin. This one's more like a harp. So they probably do sound quite nice. I need to look those up. I've never actually heard one before. And in the background we have two buildings. That's a Chinguetti mosque. So that looks like it's probably made out of brick or even mud brick. So in the Sahara region, what they like to do is build buildings out of mud brick, because they do, with the lack of rain, they do last quite a long time. I've got electrotype 100 in there as well. So that's the last denomination you're going to get for this series. The second denomination is the 200 a year. So an interesting fact as well is that when they initially issued these coins in banknotes in 1973, they only issued 100, 200, and 1,000 a year. In 1979, they issued the 500 denomination, and they never issued a 50-year banknote. They only started issuing the coin in 2009. So this one also has the pattern. It looks a bit like a fleurs, not really. And then we have Islamic architecture. So they do call it the Islamic Republic of. Is that the Islamic Republic of Mauritania? Yeah, it's called the Al Jumhuriyya Al Islamiyya Al Mauritania, and the classical state of Mauritania is somewhere near, I think it was in Algeria. So this country and the old country are not the same place. On the back, we have a boat on one of the rivers. I don't think there's many rivers in Mauritania itself. And here it looks like we've got a pestle and mortar. It's supposed to be anyway. It's well decorated, so obviously it's probably from someone who's quite wealthy. Dugout canoe with palm tree and balancing perch pole. So balancing perch will be used to take water out. So that's quite nice. This is worth about 80 cents when it was in circulation. Okay, the next denomination we have is the 500. So this one also is the same style as the other ones. Actually, I've always wanted to get Mauritanian banknotes. These ones are actually quite nice. You can see that's probably going to be UV there. Talk about this part here, the 500. It also alternates between BCM, Banque Centrale Mauritania, and the denomination. And on the back we have a mining situation. I believe Mauritania does export a lot of iron ore. And that's up in the north of the country. And here we have harvesting wheat, or it could be rice. That will be down south, because most of Mauritania is actually desert. So, and then you got a river down south. So that will be the Senegal River. It makes up a large part of the border between Mauritania and Senegal. And Senegal is one of the most stable countries in Africa. Mauritania has actually had quite a few political coups. Okay, so this 2014 100 year. So this is the first polymer note that Mauritania did issue. And the second series of banknotes are all polymer. So Mauritania is one of the few African countries that issues just polymer banknotes. Looking at the map, not many other countries around the place actually use polymer banknotes. Okay, so we have geometric pattern on this side again. Obviously the watermark is still the face. And what's missing is the last three numbers of 436, which on the earlier banknotes were printed. So this one had 211, oh no, 611 should I say. But I don't see that on the polymer banknote. So the back of the banknote doesn't represent anything major, just generic things about Mauritania itself. So we have fishing, because the coastal area is a major fishing area. Camel, we have Tishit Mosque. So obviously this is partially in ruin, it looks like. And it's probably just made out of mud brick. and a traditional hut. Okay, so these ones you can probably pick up for just a few dollars each. And I've got a run of 5. So if you get a run of 5, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And these ones seem to, that I've seen on eBay, seem to start with DC. So, and each print run is 10 million. So obviously, because of these only circulate for 3 years, DC would have been enough banknotes. If they went through a few of them, I think most of them are A. So if they went through, printed 20 or 30 million banknotes, would have been enough for quite a long time. And these ones have raised features for the blind. And also another thing about Mauritanian banknotes, each denomination is a different colour and also a different size. So it's one of the countries that actually likes to help out the people who really can't see or the banknotes quite well, so to distinguish it. And also when you're in trading, look at the colour, can help you distinguish what banknote it is. Anyway, so the only other 2 denominations I need for this series is the 2000 and 5000. 5000 is quite expensive. It's probably going to cost about $50. But anyway, hope this helps you with your banknote and coin collecting. Let me know if you like these banknotes. And another thing I forgot to say, very important, is that the 100 start with A, 200 start with B, 300 start with C, 1000 start with D, obviously 2000 will be E, and the 5000 will be F. So we'll just, before we go, we just have a look at the UV features on the banknotes. Okay, so we have a lot of the threads that are on banknotes from the early 1900s. We have a 100, and that's on the front of the banknote. On the back of the banknote, there's only the security threads. Same with the 200. So that's about it. And on the other side, the same. 500. So this is not UV. I thought that part. This part here will be UV. And the 500. But the UV actually show up quite well. The 1000 is the same thing, but they don't have the threads. Obviously, it's a bit hard to actually put it in plastic. Although if they put a coating on it, they could probably do that. It looks like doesn't look like, yeah, I think the serial number is UV as well. It doesn't show up that well on this video. Got the 1000, and on the other side, there's no UV features. So that is basically the UV of the banknotes, and I expect the other two, the 2000 and 5000, will be the same. Anyway, hope this helps with your banknote and coin collecting. Let me know which denomination is your favorite. I would say mine is, I don't know, it's too hard.